update y'all, if y'all don't already know, with the Angie Stone story, is that there's a woman who came out and stated that she actually helped Angie Stone get out the Sprinter van when the accident happened, and was helping the other people that were in the Sprinter van. Now, I've been heard about that information, but I wanted to wait and see and, do my own research and my own homework without just, you know what I mean? Without just having receipts and anything like that. So on the thumbnail, that's the picture of the lady. I already checked. She put out her own video and was explaining, as she was driving, her and her daughter was driving by, they actually seen, the accident after the fact. They didn't see how it happened, but they seen, that there was an accident. She herself says in the video, she physically ran across the highway and helped, Miss Angie Stone get out the car. So according to her, Angie Stone was alive, which, again, I've been heard of, but I just wanted to do my due diligence and see if this person would come out and do a video. Now, again, so this lady who helped Angie Stone get out the van, actually, she didn't really see, but heard. So basically, the 18-wheeler hits Angie Stone, and that's how she was unalived. So she was alive when she got out the Sprinter van and was unalive when the 18-wheeler hit her. Now, the newest update, that came out a few days ago, again, I wanted to wait before I even talked about it, is that the driver is no longer working for that company. They said the driver quit. There's a video of a content creator who, I guess, spoke to a person who actually worked for the company. I'm not going to put the content creator's information out there like that, because I still want to do research on that. But as far as I know, the driver did quit. Now, that's a fact. It's not even alleged. The driver no longer works for that company anymore. And I just find it all funny. That driver was 33, from Texas. This accident happened March, which is supposedly the third month, right? On the first day of March, which is 3. Angie Stone's birthday, or her age at the actual time, was 63. It's too many coincidences. I mean, there's too many connections here, y'all. These things are not coincidence. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I personally know some truck drivers. They got cameras in their trucks, okay? They got cameras for the front, and they have cameras in the back. Salute to y'all. I'm just focused on where I'm walking. Salute to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I just find it funny. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy how these things is lining up, and people out here still believe or think that it just was all an accident. Not only that, so, some people are saluting Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying? Because he actually paid for Angie Stone's funeral, is what the reports are saying. Now, that's cool, but I still question Tyler Perry, because we all know that, Monique and other people have exposed Tyler Perry as being a gatekeeper. Now, y'all can see the video because there's videos up there where he talks at Angie Stone's funeral and said that he didn't know that she was in debt and they took her money and this and that and this. My intuition is telling me that he did know. And the reason why I'm saying this, in that industry, whether it's music or or Hollywood, they're connected. Okay? They're connected. And not only those industries are connected, but people talk. So I'm pretty sure the story was out there like, hey, did you hear that Angie Stone, hasn't been getting paid, or this and that and this, she's struggling, because like the lady said, she should have been able to retire a minute ago. You get what I'm saying? And live comfortably with her royalties and all the back pay that they owe her. Because I remember her doing a video where she's wearing, like, I think it's the peach hoodie, whatever color it was. It's either peach or orange, where she talks about how long she's been writing songs for, and actually talked about how she even helped Mary J. Blige, and Mary J. Blige stayed with her at her home in New Jersey. And even she was talking about how Mary J's first, video, when she's wearing the cheerleading skirt and the jersey is from her. It's from Angie Stone. Now, if y'all look at Jill Scott, y'all look at a few other artists, you'll see that they always emulating and copying, Angie Stone. And Angie Stone knows this and exposed this. I mean, she called out names and everything. And all this woman ever wanted was acknowledgement. She didn't ask for no money. She didn't want for no money or nothing like that. She talked about Mary, only mentioned her one time when Mary was winning an award. And this is the problem, we've been having in our communities, is that, you'll get these pale people that do business with each other. They may not like each other, but they damn sure make sure to show respect and acknowledge. And us, we just have this mentality that if you acknowledge another person, I guess you're uplifting the person and putting yourself down, which is crazy to me and sad. You know what I'm saying? And these things been happening for I don't know, forever. Me, I made sure I uplift and salute, and show respect to the people that, you know what I'm saying, that's next to me, near me, acknowledge them. Because that little acknowledgement can go a long way. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. That's why I don't spend too much energy on, just, I don't know. It's just crazy to me how people can't just show respect. They think if they show respect or they just acknowledge somebody, that makes that person bigger than them, or just this jealousy and hate. And I've never had that, In real life, I'm not even like that. So never mind being online. Like when I see somebody doing good, I salute that. That's what we're supposed to do. But unfortunately, Negrums and Negroids, they're not about that, because it's just easy to put someone down than to uplift them or build them. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, Angie Stone's daughter asking for cash apps. It's just crazy. Still no one from her band, no one from the accident put out a video acknowledging her. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy. It be the people that you be next to that you're the prize. You're making them money. You're trying to put them in position to make money and put their families on. They be the first ones to cross you or don't even acknowledge you. I watch a video where this content creator said something, and it's the same thing that Swiss Beats said when DMX passed away. He was like, yo, I don't want no snakes at my funeral. He was like, yo, I want to have a private funeral or no funeral at all, because I don't want these snakes to come and be looking down upon me. And it was like, damn, that hit hard. Because it be these people that will come, that be the first ones at your funeral, and they hugging up on your family, on your friends, trying to, act like they was always around or they cared about you like that. And really deep down inside, they was hating on the whole time. And now they come to your funeral more like to celebrate that you're not here. You get what I'm saying? And it be like that. It be some family members and it be friends. And I know very well about that. And what I mean by that is I had a homie who passed away a few years ago. And on the Facebook post, I saw a lot of snakes that came out of the woodworks and was writing like paragraphs like, oh, that was my homie. I crashed at his crib many nights. And me being the person that I am, I just couldn't hold back. So I wrote like in the comment section. I didn't tag no one's name. I saw who the snakes were, but I just put in the comment section like, damn, there's a lot of fake love. And a few people responded to my comment. And that just really exposed who they truly are. Because other people, they hit me up and just was like, yo, I see it too, Mel. You think it's funny? I'm like, yeah, it's funny. Because all of a sudden these people are putting like, that was their homie and this and that and this. And I could count on my 5 fingers on one hand who the people that was around this person's family, around my homie's family. His whole family know me. Even the family down in Alabama, they never seen me or met me, but they know about me. Just because of how my homie used to mention my name and his parents mentioned how good of a friend I truly am. You know what I'm saying? And my other 4 homies that was really around. Okay? And these people that I'm talking about, they got the number of the house tatted on their arm. Okay? Just to let you know who really truly was around. You get what I'm saying? And these snakes come out of nowhere and just was writing a bunch of bullshit lies in the comment section. And to me, that's how I feel about like Tyler Perry just coming out of nowhere. I mean, again, salute to him for paying for her funeral. You get what I'm saying? When her family can't handle that situation at this time. So salute to him. But at the same time, it's just like, yo, who sent you? And are you really truly looking out for the family by really paying for the funeral? Or you looking to gain something? I wouldn't be shocked if we hear in a couple of weeks or months that Tyler Perry owns her catalog. And that's something else too that I mentioned on the live that I did about her, and I'll mention now. Her music stream had went up. Her catalog has went up. Who do you think is benefiting from all of that? Because there's people that, the younger generation that, might have heard their parents mention her name, aunties mention her name, but, never knew about the music, that went and Googled her music, or streamed her music, or people, real true fans that went out and maybe rebought some albums of hers. You know what I'm saying? CDs of hers or whatever case may be. You know what I'm saying? So they can have, and stuff like that. But yeah, Tyler Perry, man, it's just like when I saw the video and I watched it, and it just gave me bad vibes. I'm like, bro, you got all this money. I'm pretty sure you knew that she was hurting or whatever the case may be. Just one or 2 movies of yours that you could have threw her in, or TV shows you got, could have helped her back on her feet. And that'd be the crazy thing. We'll be around people that we know is hurting, but you don't try to help that person out. It's crazy to me. Salute to y'all again. Salute to everybody that's in the chat. Appreciate that for y'all tapping in. I truly mean that. But, It's like if a homie's telling me that he hasn't eaten and stuff like that, I wouldn't even be laughing at that. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't able to give him some bread to go get some food or whatever have you, I'm gonna make sure like, yo, homie, come to my crib. Come at this time. And every day he comes around, I feed him a meal and make sure that he leaves with extras just so he doesn't starve. You know what I'm saying? But people will turn around and go call the next person, be like, oh, yo, did you know Tyrone is starving? He ain't got no food or whatever. And they just be gossiping about the person's downfall or the person's situation at that particular time, instead of just trying to help the person and not looking for anything in return. You know what I'm saying? My mom's always taught me and my siblings that. She'll be like, hey, I may not be able to give you some money or whatever, but if you come to my home, you're going to leave with a full belly and you're not going to starve. That's the way we were raised. You know what I'm saying? Raised that someone ain't got no jacket or no coat or something like that, and you got it, and you see the person is struggling, it's not going to cost you a dime to even take it off your back. I done did that for homeless people. You know what I'm saying? Like that video I uploaded showing y'all the methadone mile. Listen, man, y'all go around there, whoever's in Boston, they know about that area. See, I've seen videos about Kensington, and I haven't been out there, but I'm telling you, it's got nothing on the methadone mile, because that's not just that little area. It goes all the way into Cambridge, okay? So it starts from Boston and goes all the way into Cambridge. And that whole straight mile is a bunch of tents that's up and a bunch of homeless people. And the government could clean it up. The state can clean it up, but it's it's not going to make them money. You know what I'm saying? But they'll send money for war to a whole nother country because, you know, when there's war, there's money. Housing homeless people ain't bringing them money. But yeah, that, like I said, man, y'all could see that lady's video. I didn't want to take nobody's video and upload it, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, because a lot of them got their watermarks on it and stuff like that, and you know how these people are. But y'all could go, you know, y'all could Google it. Y'all can go on Instagram and just type up in the search, you know, lady who helped Angie Stone out the car, and y'all see the video and what she says herself. So, you know, what she's saying is the 18-wheeler, after taking Angie Stone out the vehicle and trying to help the other people get out the car, and she even said that she asked the members, like the other people in the vehicle, like, did y'all call 911? And they said to her, like, oh, we're just trying to get out the car. And she says, out of nowhere, this 18-wheeler is what took Angie Stone out. Now, come on now. Come on now. Things that make you go, And she said she was right there, you know, and stuff like that, to the point where I guess her daughter had to move her car because the car almost got hit by the same 18-wheeler. You get what I'm saying? So come on, y'all. Like, you can't even, man, listen, it just sounds like a movie scene when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds like a movie scene. Like, what? Yeah, exactly. Diabolical. You know? Every time I'm seeing other people reporting on it, talking about it, they saying and thinking the same thing that I'm saying and thinking. Like, come on. In the news, if you type up the news right now, they still saying that it was the car accident where she was found unalive. And that's not even true. They're not even recanting what they put out there. So if content creators can't, you know, put out information and we got to say allegedly, why the news? Why mainstream media news outlets don't have to say allegedly? Why they could put out a bunch of fucking bullshit lies? And I already know why. I mean, Obama, before he left the White House, he wrote a bill where they can still push out propaganda. And that's why I be looking at people that be talking about mainstream news. And it's just like, damn, you don't know that it's propaganda and it's lies, it's misinformation? Like, y'all don't know that by now? But then I see people wilding out on some YouTubers that actually, when they covering a story, they not giving their opinions. They're not giving you no angles. They giving you the story. And they showing receipts. And people will be like, oh, you're trying to solve a case and you're snitching and this and that. But you don't talk about the pale people that do the same damn thing. The reporters that come to the hood when there's a shooting. Are you standing in front of the reporters for the local news channels in your cities and telling them that, you know what I'm saying, that they lying or they're making it up? They're making the story up about Ray Ray and Pookie and Tyrone and them. But this is what's funny to me. Negrums is quick to attack someone that looks just like them and say, oh, you working for the feds and this and that and this. It's just like, yo, bro, nobody's trying to do the police work. It's just knowing that certain things that is presented to us surface level, that it don't make no sense. And your intuition and your conscience is telling you like, that's not what really happened. You get that gut feeling like, yo, there's more to this than what they saying. Come on. And I already felt like that when I saw the scene. The car that drives by and shows the Sprinter van and shows the 18-wheeler. When you're looking at the scene, you're looking at it and you're like, yo, it don't even look right. Come on. So why wouldn't I question it? If my intuition is questioning it and saying, yeah, that don't look right, why wouldn't I say that, yo, it don't look right? The same people telling you that they can reenact an airplane crash, okay? The same people, these people then put out on major reports that they can fake airplane crashes. They can fake this, they can fake that. And we're in a time where there's AI and all this other stuff. There's photoshopping, there's CGI, okay? Computer graphic imagery. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here? People will be like, oh, yeah, we never landed on the moon, like this and that. And they faked that. And it looked real to a lot of people, okay? To a lot of people, that looked fake. And to a lot of other people, it looked real. You know what I'm saying? And now look what, come on, man. The same people are telling you that they went there. When they went there, it done stated like, oh, we lost all the information, all the paperwork that helped us get there. We don't no longer have the, come on, like how you lose that? How you lose the information that's super supposed to be important like that? Like, make that make sense. What's that telling you? Ain't never went. It was all lies. It's all lies. But yeah, that white lady came out, did a video. Salute, discern. She basically stated that, hey, Angie, was alive coming out the Sprinter van. It was the 18-wheeler. Now, come on. And then people been doing research on the driver. There's no updates on the driver. If that was a regular person, they would have already got charged already for vehicle homicide or something. They would have been charged with something. And all they put out is he's 33 from Texas. That's it. And then now, mysteriously, he just quit the job. Come on. That's how these people work. Sounds like a planned something to me. Just like how they did JFK. And what did Jackie say? They did it. That's her exact words when JFK was taken out. His wife's exact words was, they did it. Come on. So people think these things still ain't going on? Come on. Months after exposing these people, and Angie Stone is not the first story. There's the Sam Cooke. Come on. There's the Prince. Prince wanted his masters. He wanted his publishing. Remember, he had changed his name and everything. Like, come on, y'all. It's the same story. Come on. If people are thinking these shit's a coincidence, man, I feel sorry for you. I really, truly do feel sorry for the person to think like that. Come on. It's the same thing happening to artists. Come on. Kanye starts speaking against some certain people. They want to take his money. They want to, suppress him. and all this other stuff. Like, come on. And him himself said, if you see me go away and I come back, just know that's not me. Come on. Orlando Brown been exposing stuff for years. And what was people saying? Because it was so easy to say, oh, yeah, he's on something. He ain't all there. The dude plays a certain part. He's an actor. So he knows how to play. Now, I wasn't with him, so I don't know what he was putting in his system, in his body. But he knows how to play that part to make people say, oh, yeah, and he's on something. But the dude was telling the truth. He was releasing all those stories. So forget about our kind. What about Aaron Carter? What about Aaron Carter, who was exposing? Like, he was one of the dudes that was like, yo, they try to give him money to go on the stand and put some dirt on Michael Jackson. Okay? What about the dude who the True Empire TV series was about? That dude did Vlad videos. I forgot his name, but y'all could look it up. That Empire series on Fox, that was his life. All of that. That was his real true life. He had a girl named Cookie and all of that. Once he started talking about he was suing Fox and Fox executives and he was suing Terrence Howard, I don't think he had Taraji in the lawsuit. But y'all could look that up. He was on Vlad exposing all of that. That was his story. He said the first two people he met up that he wanted for them to do a movie or series on it was Suge and Jamie Foxx. He said the reason why it didn't work out is because Jamie Foxx, I guess, had like some things that he was doing, some movies at the time. So every time he called Jamie Foxx, like, Jamie was never really around and stuff like that. And he wanted to move forward with the, with the TV series or the movie, and stuff like that. So he said the second person that he met up with was Terrence Howard. And he was trying to pitch it to Terrence Howard. You know what I'm saying? And he said all of a sudden, next thing you know, Fox and Terrence Howard is doing the Empire story. And this man showed Vlad the book and everything, because there's an infamous scene in Empire where they have a picture of Terrence Howard sitting in a chair that looks like a throne and everything. He actually showed the picture on Vlad. So they took every idea from him. They didn't want him to be part of it because, they would have had to give him money and everything. And that industry is super dirty and grimy. You can't tell nobody no idea, nothing. Because next thing you know, they're going to be running off with it. You know what I'm saying? And while he was going through the lawsuit, the same person too, his kids used to go to Michael Jackson's house because his children used to be in a singing group. And he had like 3 sons. They was part of a singing group. But long story short, there's a young child that he had at that particular time. And that child is the child of, I don't know if y'all remember the reports of Michael wearing one of the children's underwear or something like that. No, one of the children was wearing Michael's underwear. My fault. I said it wrong. But anyways, that was that man's son. He said when they all used to go over there, they used to bring their swim trunks. That particular day, his youngest son forgot his swim trunks. So Michael gave it to him. But that was brought up in the case and everything. And he said they even tried to pay him to go on the stand and talk bad about Mike. And he refused because he ended up finding out that, I forgot this guy's name, man, because I wish I could tell y'all and y'all could look it up. But y'all could look it up because Vlad got all of those. He still got it up on his channel. But anyways, that guy ended up finding out that him and Joe Jackson were related in real life. They were like they ended up being like first or second cousins or something like that. But yeah, y'all could look this up, man. That guy was on there. That was his life, the Empire. So I only brought that up to say like how, that industry is real dirty. They do grimy things like that. You get what I'm saying? So let me see. How can an 18-wheeler take Angie and not both of them? Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, I still question that lady as well, too. Like, who is she? You know what I'm saying? I still question that discern. I'm not saying I believe, everything that she's saying, but I just knew the story was that Angie didn't pass from the accident. You get what I'm saying? Salute, Philly. Salute, Philly OG. So that's all I'm saying. Like, you know, um, I'm just saying, man, there's plenty of stories and things that's happened to certain people that exposes certain things. You know what I mean? There was a guy who exposed, I believe, if it a former CIA, he was exposing the CIA and operations that they were doing and stuff like that. Next thing you know, that dude was found, you know, not breathing anymore. Like, we'll just say that. So, I mean, these things been happening and going on. And it's just sad that, you know, when you talk about certain things, you want to be censored. They want to censor you and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. They'll let you slander all day. They'll let you lie all day. But once you start telling the truth, you know, and I learned a saying a long time ago. My father was the first one to say, only liars want to silence the truth. You know what I'm saying? Which is the truth. You know, only liars wants to silence the truth. You know. But I mean, at the same time, to your question, if you're a professional driver, you know, I know people that's been driving those rigs, man, those, you know, 18-wheelers, big rig, whatever you want to title them, name them, that's been driving for 40, 50 plus years. To them, it's like driving a car. They know how to maneuver in those, you know. I'll just say this. I've seen someone go into a crowd with their vehicle and you know, tap someone that they had issues with. And nobody in the crowd got touched by that vehicle, but that one person, you know. So things are possible. I'll just say that, you know. But again, if you've been driving an 18-wheeler for 40, 50, 30 plus years, you know how to maneuver in it. You know what I'm saying? You can maneuver in it. And, you know, my thing is I'm not in the business of convincing anybody. People gonna think what they want to think. People gonna believe what they want to believe. And then there's gonna be people that know what they know. You know what I'm saying? So, again, my job is never to convince people. I could just put the information out. Now, what people do with that information, that's on them, you know? And that's just how life is. You might tell somebody the truth, or you tell somebody the truth, and they don't believe it. And then you know, deep down inside, you know you're telling the truth. You're not lying, you're not fabricating, you're not making no stories up or nothing, and they just questioning you, you know? There's some people that's out there that's like that, you know? That's why they say, be around like-minded people, because everything flows naturally when you're around like-minded people, you know? A wise man once told me, if you're on the 10th floor and you're arguing with someone on the 3rd floor, how can they see what you see? You know? And that's true. You're living on the 10th floor and you're arguing or debating with someone on the 3rd floor. How can they see what you see? Your view and that person on the 3rd floor view is going to be totally different. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about life, and I'm talking about real life view. You much higher than the person. So your view is going to be broader than theirs, you know? Shit, I was watching a podcast where they kind of asked that question, and the person on the podcast, the host, was asking the two guests and said, can someone be in a relationship with another person who is not like-minded? And both of the guests was like, nah, it can't work, you know, because there's always going to be pushback, you know. When you are talking to someone who's like-minded, everything's gonna flow. You may not agree on everything, of course, but it's never gonna turn into an argument. You get what I'm saying? Then someone who doesn't have the same views as you, the same stance as you, and everything. Now, a simple conversation turns into a argument. You get what I'm saying? And that's basically, if you're vibrating at a high frequency, you think someone who's vibrating at a low frequency is gonna, understand the things that you talk about? They will never. Salute, Garrison. Salute. You know what I'm saying? They'll never get what you're talking about. They're not even gonna see the view that you see, and that's my point. When that was told to me, I didn't get it because I was young-minded. But as an adult, I get it. You're on the 10th floor, the person's on the 3rd floor. Your view is never gonna be theirs, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? You might get a nice view of the skyline. You know what I'm saying? You seeing planes and everything. They could see the planes, but they can't see the building skylines. They can't see the scenery that you see because you're much higher than them. So I used to get upset when people didn't, know what I know or whatever the case may be. Now it's just like, hey, everybody's not on the same learning curve. People are gonna have different views and stuff like that, on different things, different perspectives on different things. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. We all ain't gonna agree, even with the like-minded people. They all ain't gonna agree on everything. But what I'm saying is it'll flow naturally. That's definitely a fact. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be no arguing or you think you're better than me or this and that or, whatever, just because we don't agree. But again, like I said, I just find it crazy that, Tyler Perry, speaking at her funeral, and him himself said with his own mouth that he didn't know Angie Stone like that. He said that. He said when he heard the story, he just found it like crazy that for all the body of work this woman did in the industry, that they owed her all this money and never paid her. And again, people would be like, oh, well, she should have looked at the contract and all of that. She did look at the contracts. It was the people that she put in position to handle her account is the ones who was doing the funny business. Things that should have been published weren't published. They was doing some grimy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, Steve Harvey, same thing with him. Steve Harvey goes to the ATM to pull out a little bit of money, and his account was at zeros. So he grabs his phone to call his accountant, and the accountant's number's like disconnected or whatever. And the accountant's the one who robbed him. That's why he had all those, he was all on TV. He had the talk show, he had the pageant thing going on, he had all of those things going on just to make back the money that he was taken from him. I said the same thing, Migos, and it was, I think they said Quavo noticed that the money that they were supposed to be making and getting, they wasn't getting that, and they had to fire some of the people that was working for them to do their business. Why? Because these people came from QC, the record label that they was on, so that's how it be. The same record label that you signed to is giving you your manager, is appointing you the lawyer and all of that, but you don't know. You don't know that, you know what I'm saying? You don't know that. And until, the money that you're supposed to make, you're not getting it. And then you realize like, wow, the attorney works for the record label. The manager works for the record label. So these people don't have the best interest for you. They around you. Their best interest is for the record label. You know what I'm saying? To keep you dumbed down or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's the cost of doing business. When money's involved, when contracts involved, you gotta hire the right people, the right, person that you feel is gonna represent you to the best of, their ability, and actually care, because that's what it comes down to. And a lot of these people are crooked. You know what I'm saying? Like me, if I get one lawyer to look at the contract, I'm getting a second lawyer to look at the contract and see if what the first one is saying is really what it is. You know, you just got to do your due diligence. That's all. But, you know, I get it. People be in dire situations or needs or whatever. They want that money quick, fast. So they don't take the proper steps or go through the proper channels, you know what I'm saying, to make sure, you know, all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. But that's for you to do that before you put you know, before you sign that contract. You got to make sure everything's right. Because at the end of the day, you know, the money's not only for you, but it's for family members, especially if you have children. You know, it's to create something when you're not around. You know, like musicians, music artists, like they get their family when they're not here. Their family could collect, you know, money up to like I think 70 years after the fact that they pass. You know, what you call it? Mama Duck, FBG Duck's mom said, like when FBG passed away, she realized like she doesn't own anything. You know, it went to Sony Records because that was the deal that he signed. So any music that comes out, she doesn't see nothing from that. It's gonna be the record label that's gonna be getting paid. And that's crazy. And then these same people take life insurance. The minute that you sign on that contract, they take a life insurance policy out on you and you don't even know it. If your mama don't know, your pops don't know, your family, nobody knows. You know, it's crazy. But, you know, look who's reaping all the benefit from since Angie Stone passed away. It's the record label. You know, the record label's getting paid. You know, it's unfortunate. Her daughter doesn't see nothing. Her granddaughter don't see nothing. You know, her son doesn't get anything. Her family in general don't get nothing unless they, you know, because I know Angie exposed that she, you know, was taking them to court, taking the record label to court and all of that other stuff. You know, is that still going to be continued on by family members? I mean, if her daughter's asking for cash apps, that's already telling you she don't got no money for no lawyer, you know, and stuff like that. Unless somebody comes out, unless a lawyer comes out and says, hey, you know, I'm going to help you. And when we get this money, you just break me off with this, you know. But how many lawyers is going to, you know, put their selves on the line to help, you know, the daughter or the family get this money? You know, so it's another thing too. Or who's going to look out for the daughter that actually cares about Angie? You know, whether it's an artist or someone come out of the woodwork and say, yo, you know what? Let me put up a good lawyer that I trust to fight for your mother's catalog. And so that you could benefit from it and your daughter, Angie's granddaughter, could benefit from it, you know? And a lot of these people, man, they know what comes with that when they put themselves out there like that, you know? Get harassment and a whole bunch of other stuff. You know, it's kind of like Big Pun's wife. How Fat Joe was coming out and saying, oh, he gave all this money and certain people believed him. But the ones who was in that circle really know what the truth was. And the man says to Big Pun's wife, oh, if you want me to be part of his biography or whatever, you know, or documentary, I want you to put a public statement out apologizing. And she's like, well, I'm not doing that. And why? Because Fat Joe's more worried about his image. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing right by the artist and making sure the family, you know, benefits from it, he was snaking all that money. You know what I'm saying? Fat Joe didn't have no hits. He didn't have no platinum record until Pun was there. Like, come on. People forget, man. We're in a time where people forget things that happen. Him and Remy's part of their fallout was because of how Fat Joe did Big Pun's wife and family. That's why they had the issues. You know what I'm saying? It was because of that. That's why they had the issue. And it was because of Papoose as well, too. because Papoose had a little incident with Fat Joe. But I'm saying the main reason was because of how Fat Joe didn't look out for Big Pun. And remember, Fat Joe didn't find Remy. You know what I'm saying? Big Pun is the one who signed Remy and brought Remy to Fat Joe. So like I said, man, these stories about people playing people has been going on for a long ass time. You know what I mean? But, you know, I heard this way back then. It was nothing new about the Fat Joe situation. I was hearing that about all of that back then. You know? That's been going on for years. Fat Joe, man, he's a sucker. That dude's a punk. Shots was good, my boy. What's going on, player? You know, but yeah, man, it's just sad. You know? But hey, the truth never needs anything to stand on. You know, the truth will come out and be exposed. You know, I'm just saying, this lady did a video. No one to this day still have done a video. All of these people, 2 of these people went to the same hospital. No one's put out a personal video. Forget even if they did a video, you know, and they didn't mention like the accident, but they just, you know, paid homage to Angie. So none of them are even paying homage to Angie. And like one content creator said, he feels like, yo, if nobody came out with a video to this day, did they sign like NDAs or something like that? To not to talk about it? Like, come on. Come on now. So your bandmate passes away. Your bandmate was the singer or he was the rapper, and you don't come out and do at least one video. You don't do not one video saying, yo, that was my man. That was my homie. You know, I knew him since we was in the elementary, yada, yada, whatever, whatever. You don't do not one video? Come on, man. Come on. I don't like, by now it's just mad late anyways for someone to put out a video. You know? People be like, oh, why react to something that is, you know, this and that? Like, sometimes the silence make it believable or makes it real. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, in this circumstance, it's just like, yo, these people's actions like speaks volumes, man. It tells me everything. Come on. She wasn't traveling with strangers, man. You know? And one of her friends did come out and put a statement and said before the accident happened, she told the driver to slow down. So, you know, you got some people, man, they just think like speeding is driving. And speeding don't mean nothing. We all can speed. It's about having control of the vehicle. That's what counts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've drove 24 hours on the road. You know what I'm saying? From up north, Boston, all the way to Florida. That's when you consider to be a driver. You doing a whole 12 hours straight driving, and then you let the second person driving take over. You know, driving long distance is what makes you a driver. Speeding don't make you no damn driver. Because I've seen plenty of people speeding on the road and lose control of a car because they want to hold it with one hand, thinking they're cool, and lose control easily and smash into guardrails and smash into other cars and all of that. I done seen it. So speeding don't make you a driver. You know what I'm saying? I'm too grown to be doing that. I cruise when I drive. I go at a nice pace, and I'm still going to get there on time. Why? Because I'm an early bird. So I'm going to hit the road much earlier than, you know what I'm saying, than the average. Just because of the way I'm driving. Yeah, there's times where, you know, you're going to push it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You know the spots on the interstate where them state troopers ain't at, so you could push it a little bit. But why do I need to get on the interstate and do 100? Like, for what? What's the reason? It makes no sense. It's not just you in the vehicle. You got other lives to protect in that vehicle. You know what I'm saying? So she's the only one that I know, besides the white woman, to come out and say, hey, she told the driver to slow down. before the accident happened, you know? And there's content creators that, like I said, that's looked at the area where the crash happened, how there's no camera all of a sudden there. But they got cameras that cover that whole interstate. I think they said it's Interstate 85 or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember. But come on. This dude did his due diligence. When I say he did his due diligence, he went over and beyond to hit up the DOT website to look at their cameras, which is open to the public. Okay? And there's other crashes that they show on that same interstate. There's other crashes that's on there. But then when he's looking up the day that this accident happened, there's no video. Come on, man. Like, you can't even make, like I said, man, it's just certain things that just basically let you know there was some funny-ish going on. Let me see. That whole scene is another example. Yeah, facts. Facts, shots. You know what I mean? Like I said, when I saw that scene, it didn't look right to me. You know, I used to do environmental work where we would get calls to clean up like car accident scenes. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's like antifreeze on the road, gasoline that comes out of a car, you know, just clean up the debris and all of this other stuff. The environmental company I worked for, they used to subcontract with the state. So we would go to accident scenes and clean up like the glass off the road, the interstate, wherever the accident happened at, whether it's local roads or the interstate. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, there's a lot of things that just don't make sense to me, you know? But again, I don't know this white woman. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that she can't be lying, but, you know, why would she show her face to be lying? Why would she do that? And she took, you know, time before she did that. Because her face wasn't known. Nobody knew about this lady. There was certain people that put the story out there and didn't, you know, put their name to it. They was like, hey, I was there, you know, when it happened. She came out the vehicle. She was fine. She was stumbling. She looked disorientated. You know what I'm saying? She looked like, you know, she was hurting from the accident, but she came out of it. She wasn't unalived. The news is saying that, you know, the accident that happened made her unalive. They're not explaining the other stuff. And again, if it was a regular person, their information would be put out there for the masses. Your address, everything would be out there. How come none of this information is out there about this driver at all? None of this information is out there about this driver, which I find crazy. I just find it crazy. You know what I'm saying? I was outside all day today, y'all, doing some yard work, man. You know, putting these damn leaves in these bags so they come pick them up. And the way my crib is positioned on my street, it's like everybody's leaves just come straight onto this property, man. It be pissing me off, yo. It's like everybody's leaves come straight to my crib. But yeah, it's just crazy, y'all. But yeah, I don't want to be on here, man, too long. I just wanted to bring that update to some of y'all who may not know. Some of y'all already do know. But, you know, like I always say, man, do your own research. Look it up for yourselves. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, put in the comment section. Tell me what you think. You know, like, dislike, you know, this live. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. Let me know. And to the replay gang, that's all I ask for. I don't ask for nothing, man. You could drop a like or dislike or get in the comment section. Tell me what you think might have happened. Tell me how you feel. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, you know? But salute, Shots, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate Discern. Appreciate Garrison. Appreciate Kyra. Miss Gigi, Philly OG, Tanja, salute to you. Appreciate y'all for all of y'all tapping in. Miss D, appreciate all of y'all, man. I just wanted to, say what I said, or say what I had to say. Enemies Public, salute, bro. Salute, salute, salute. But yeah, man, y'all tell me, like I said, man, in your comment section, what y'all feel happened, what y'all think happened. You know what I'm saying? I just was giving an update on it, what I think, how I feel. Just a lot of things don't make sense with this. You know what I'm saying? But salute to y'all. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Y'all already know, stay vigilant and move militant. Peace.